Hey guys, so I just wanted to share with you guys some stuff. So I've been seeing a lot of posts and stuff that show that there's a lot of fear going on, and I've talked about a little bit about the fear before and the psychology of fear, but the thing is that when we look around us, we are constantly being bombarded with things that tell us that we're supposed to be afraid. And when that happens, we end up feeding into those fears, and it becomes a subconscious thing that we're just living constantly walking around with those fears. And media helps with this. And when you're completely bombarded all the time with negative thought processes and the negative things that are going on around you and in life and society, it just starts consuming our brains and our thinking. And so we end up subconsciously living in a continued heightened state of fear, and it's on a subconscious level. So a lot of times we don't even realize that we're actually operating off of that fear-based thinking. And I just want to share with you, I'm going to just kind of quick flip around here. I've got an article here that I pulled up, and I just want to share with you some things that happen when, as a result of living in that continued state of fear all the time, to our, not only our health, but our mental conditioning. Because living in fear actually makes us sicker. It contributes to all sorts of different heightened anxiety. Our world, we've started seeing more and more mental disorders, more and more anxiety, people being afraid to leave their homes for lots of different reasons. And this is stuff that has started even before the virus. But anyways, so we all are aware of how fear creates the fight or flight response, and the similarities and the processes for that, starting out with being alarmed. Something alarms us, and so then we start panicking. Like, we've all had situations where sometimes we can hear the wind knocking a door on its hinges, or a tree limb or something scratching our window, and we automatically start being afraid that it might be a burglar coming in at first. And so fear leads to sometimes irrational thoughts, first off, and then we have resistance, where we start to go into a restoring period, kind of, so to speak, and a renewal takes place. And exhaustion, the stress has continued to, for some time, the body's ability to resist is lost because its adaptation energy supply is gone. And this is often referred to as overload, burnout, adrenal fatigue, maladaptation, and dysfunction. Now, some of the effects that it has on our health is it causes problems with our immune system. It causes dysfunctions in our immune system. It causes dysfunctions in our endocrine system, in our autonomic nervous system. It alters things in there. It disrupts our sleep-wake cycles. It can cause eating disorders, and it can cause alterations in the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis. And when you're living in chronic fear, like societies over the years have been conditioned to do, it starts making you have disassociations from yourself, unable to have loving feelings, learned helplessness, phobic anxiety, mood swings, obsessive compulsive thoughts. And some of the potential consequences that chronic fear on environmental health has are continued living in fear generating situations due to uncertainty of moving out and unknown associated dangers, not able to find safe housing, afraid to leave home because of paranoia. On our spiritual health, it starts giving us fear, starts leading to bitterness and fear towards God or other people, confusion, distrust with God or religion, loss of trust in God and or clergy, waiting for God to fix it, despair related to perceived loss of spirituality. Also, more importantly, and the most important thing of all, especially with the current situations that we're all living in now at this point, fear affects our ability to learn. The brain's capacity to retrieve previous learning is dependent on specific chemical states, according to Moeller. Chemical alterations can distort perception of sensory information, thus distorting storage. When the brain is hyper-aroused, storage may be incomplete and new information will be stored in nonverbal memory. This distorts the storage of sensory input and the retrieval of information will be affected. Now, again, this is just one of many articles that you can get from health people. And again, this one is for those of you who want to read it yourselves. I'll post links in the comment on it, but it's from ajmc.com, conferences from 2017, and the effects of chronic fear on a person's health. This particular one, I could pull up several of them that will relate and give you the same information, but the point here that I'm trying to make is that when we are conditioned to live in this heightened state of fear, it negates our ability to critically think and process information, and oftentimes we can reject information that's true and factual because it goes against what our fear-based thinking has been conditioned to believe to be true and accurate and evident, which is really super detrimental and dangerous to not just us and our own personal health, but to the health and safety of all of those around us and to society as a whole. And throughout history, the elites and powers that be have used fear tactics as a way to control us and manipulate us so that they can keep in controlling and stay in control and in power. And it allows them to continue to do whatever they want to do, regardless of if it's good for society as a whole or not. And so we need to be mindful of the fact that we're being constantly conditioned to live in this constant fear state, because another twist on it that you can see is love is the absence. Love cannot, true, real, actual love, which is like for those who are parents, love and true love and joy comes from inside of us, not externally, which is another thing that we've been conditioned. We've been conditioned to believe that it comes from outside. But those of you that are parents can relate to this. Pure joy is likened to that of what is felt when a parent first holds their child for the first time in their hands. That's unconditional, pure love. And with fear, you can't have pure, unconditional love be at hand and be the controlling factor in your life. And without love, it destroys everything. There's been so many different texts throughout history and from religion to religion that tell us to be mindful of our thoughts. And part of the reason why they tell us this is because our thoughts are so easily able to be misguided and led astray, and been mentally conditioned to believe what somebody else tells us to be true. And that's what we're seeing now. It's not something that's new. It's been around since the dawn of time. It's how governments have kept control over their populations since the beginning of civilization. It's just as true today. It's the same things that led Hitler to rounding up the Jews. Hate cannot be present where love is. And as long as and why do you think so much of everything that happens is to divide love away and take love out of the equation? We've been conditioned to turn against each other, to turn against anything and everything that we believe in. To the point where we question and we can't even grasp our own internal clocks and what our internal bodies are telling us is not true and that something's wrong, and we deny it because people say, "Oh, you're just crazy." No, the Creator gave us a way to know if something is right or something is wrong. And that's where fear came into play to begin with, is because of that need for fight or flight when back in the old days. Now it's being used as a way to control us mentally and emotionally and physically and keep us held down. And we can change that. We don't need to keep focusing on it. I mean, honestly, look at what media does to us. It never has anything good to report. It's always reporting the negative and the bad. And that causes us to be fueled by that negative and bad because that's all we're hearing. What kind of world do you think we would have if the media only focused on the good things that are going on? Because I can tell you right now, there's a heck of a lot of good going on out there that we don't even know about because we've been mentally conditioned to believe all this bad and to turn against each other and be afraid of each other for agendas that don't even matter. So we need to just be coming up and rising past that fear, because as long as we continue to stay in that fear, we're going to stay stuck in that fear, and we're never going to be able to move past it. We're never going to be able to make life better for all of us. We have to join together, and we all have to remove past that fear, because guess what? This virus that everyone's afraid of and they're afraid they're going to get, when you're living in fear, you're making yourself that much more susceptible to getting that virus. Think happy thoughts and your immune system goes up. And you can't be feeling good about life and yourself if you're feeling negative all the time and you're always under worry and stress about things. So anyways, love to all of you guys, and just that's some food for thought, and please share your thoughts and your opinions because I want to hear them. I want to be able to help and have a discussion. We need to start moving past these things, guys, and we can do it together. We can't do it apart.